Hi, this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style. And I started recording a video and then I got a phone call and it screwed up my train of thought. So I'm trying to remember exactly what I was talking about. But we're just going to talk a little bit here. And the basics of the video was, people being goldfish. And you're probably like, what the heck are you talking about? So in the market, a lot of people act like goldfish and they see shiny objects or they see a school of fish and they jump over and swim with them for a while and they jump over and swim with another school for a while, or they see this shiny thing and they go towards it and put money there or that shiny thing. It's all about trading and finding the next best thing and the next thing you're going to make money on right the heck now. And don't get me wrong, that's great. But I don't trade well and I'm not going to teach trading. What I teach is investing. And investing is fairly simple once you know what to do. And it took me about 10 years to kind of really realize that. And I started really understanding it a few years ago. And then I went through some rough times in my life and kind of screwed everything up. But I have some really good stock picks and I'm really good at picking long-term companies. And I had one person tell me one time, he's like, "Oh my God, you better get into this sector or you're going to miss out on everything." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Well, that doesn't even make any sense because there's things all the time in the market that are going to do well. This sector, that sector, this year is going to do well, better than next year or better than the year before. Like things go in cycles. There's it's constantly changing, but sometimes it's always the same. So you don't have to get into everything. And I told that guy, like, I don't have enough money to buy every single piece of everything that's out there. So you have to stick with some things that you really truly believe in, that you've researched and that you're good at, or that you understand. Now, there's some things that you don't understand, and that's fine. So I've got some clients and stuff, they don't understand the market. And the vast majority of people that I know don't care. They don't care about individual companies. They don't care about reading the revenues and if they're doing better this year than last year, what their new product lines are, what their new management team looks like. That's a lot of stuff that people just don't find entertaining. They don't enjoy it. They don't understand it, and that's okay. That's why you have someone like me. I have a free community. I'll put the link in the description if you want to join. And I'm also working on a quick start guide so that you can do this in the background of your life because that's who I appeal to. I appeal to people that don't want to deep dive this stuff. They just kind of want to have a pretty good idea of the best places to put their money and keep putting money in there, put it in the background of your life by automating it. And then over time, you're going to have more wealth, most likely, than you do now. So I have to say most likely because nobody knows what the future is going to do, not a single person. Um, I'm not a fiduciary. I don't have a license or a degree, and that's fine because I have life experience, and that's so much better than a degree. But I know people that have degrees and licenses, and I talk to them on regular basis. So, yeah, I've got kind of the best of all worlds, but I'm really good at picking stocks, and especially for the long term. And it's funny, last year I was screaming about a company called AMD at $75 a share at right around this time. And everybody was laughing at me because they said that Nvidia was better. And well, Nvidia is a really solid company and it might ultimately overall be better, but AMD was really, really good and they were doing some things behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't know they were doing. And I told a lot of people, I was like, AMD is a really, really good company. And now it's sitting at $257 a share. $257 a share. I was screaming about it at 75. There's another company, HIMS. So HIMS and Hers. I was screaming about that around $40. It fell all the way down to 14. But Joey, I thought you were really good at picking stocks. I am good at picking stocks. But price action doesn't mean anything in the short term. That doesn't necessarily not mean anything, but the short term price action is not what we're paying attention to. It's the actual companies and what they're doing, their fundamentals. And that's what's going to bring you the wealth over time. And when stocks fall down, that's actually a really good thing because it's like going to the store and buying the stuff that you were going to buy anyhow cheaper. So when you see a sale, you're like, oh, okay, great. I was going to buy that anyhow for $10. Now it's on sale for 6. I just saved $4. Are you unhappy about that? No. But people get unhappy about stocks coming down because They're not consumables, and they don't understand long-term mindsets. So that's what I do. I get you in a long-term mindset. I mean, years are going to pass anyhow. You might as well do this the right way, because what I did for 10 years cost me a piss load of money because I made a lot of mistakes. And what I'm going to teach you to do over the next 10 years is going to cost you significantly less money. It cost me over 100 grand to learn all the lessons that I learned because of the mistakes that I made. So I'm going to save you from losing $100,000 plus and just putting money into the best assets, setting aside a specific amount out of your paycheck as long as you have a surplus, an emergency fund, 1 month's expenses, and a manageable working plan, which would give you manageable debt most likely. So I have a quick start guide that teaches people budgeting and that also does the investing side of it. And investing is just literally set it and forget it. You put some money in your pay from your paycheck, or every single month, or every day, or however you want to do it, and you put it into the assets that I have selected for you. I have about 20 assets that I have selected. I tell you about them, whatever. I would recommend 5 to 7 of them. And then you just continuously put money in there for the next 3 to 5 years. That's literally how that works. And my quick start guide is going to be like $50. It's almost finished. And my community right now is it's actually free. I'm probably going to charge $5 a month for it eventually, but if you get in there for free, you're grandfathered in. Um, and then I'll charge a yearly thing to where it's even cheaper by the year, to where it's like $40 a year to stay in, and that gives me as your financial buddy, basically keeps me as a retainer to help guide you throughout the next several years. And then as 3 to 5 years pass and you build up these share counts and ownership of your companies, then we assess your account then. And then so somewhere between 2028 and 2031, something like that, we'll assess your account, how many shares you have, what it looks like, and now you have a foundation built. So what we're going to do then is we're either going to continually add to the shares of stock that we have been adding to for those years, or what we're going to do is find new companies to add to as well, because maybe times have changed by then. We're not going to be selling, and we're going to set up an account to where it is a tax advantaged account, but it's literally a standard brokerage account, but you don't sell. And trust me, that's going to be very important, because we don't want taxable events, and we don't want like IRAs, 401ks, stuff like that. Whenever you take your money out, if you, let's say you did very well, let's say you got to a point where you have enough money to retire and you retire early. If you did that and you have an IRA or a 401k, you're going to get charged 10% penalty because you're taking your money out before the age of 59 and a half. Literally, the government just says, you did too well too soon. You owe us money. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, why would you do that? Why would anybody do that? So if you do a standard brokerage account, you only pay taxes on it when you sell, and there's no penalty whatsoever, ever. That's why I stick to that. So I'm an outside of the box thinker, and I look at things differently than everybody else. So this is finance and investing, just Joey style. And think about coming over to my community and having conversations as often as you can about this stuff. Or if you want to build wealth in the background of your life because you're busy as crap, that's what I teach to do.